Hi everyone. So I've just finished designing my image on Cricut Design Space and I'm ready to put my 3-layer decal together. So first, before I could do this, I had to come up with a way to hold the transfer paper from bending or sagging, or since the image is so long, the decal is so long, if I didn't get it just perfect, it could touch and stick lower than I wanted it to before I wanted it to. So what I came up with was I took a glass out of a picture frame, and this is 8 by 10 I think, and I used some Tack-it glue, and this is probably a little more water than Tack-it on 1-to-1 ratio, because I needed this to be kind of sticky, and the transfer paper will go onto this. Also, this is a mat that you use to protect your counter, just something from the dollar store, and this needed just to have just a little bit of tack to it, but I didn't want anything to stick to it, but I wanted it to almost have like static effect, and that will hold my images flat. Because if you just lay it on the table, you can see, I don't know if you can see how the edges are turned up on pieces this big. If you were doing a small little decal, you might be able to do it by hand, but for the larger ones I found that this works good. So I'm going to go ahead and put this together and let you see how this works. I'm going to take my piece of glass, and put the transfer paper on it. I just bend the corner so that I can separate it easier once I get it stuck on. Okay, now that I have the transfer paper stuck to my piece of glass, it'll hold it flat and keep it straight when I apply it to my decal. I'll try to get right here where you can see how I apply it. So now this is stuck, I can take the backing off and just make sure that the transfer paper stays down tight on your picture frame. And peel it off, you can see if it stayed stuck to it well, and everything's good and smooth. So now I'm ready to stick my first image. And this is a little longer than my glass, so I'm going to have to control that later. So for the first one, I'm just trying to center it equal distance from the edges. And with this, you just want this to be able to come right off. You don't want it to stick to the backing of the image you just put down. Now I can take the backing off and just make sure your vinyl stays on the transfer paper. And you can handle the transfer paper up top because this will be cut off when you're done. And just make sure your vinyl is staying to the transfer paper. Now I'm ready to stick the the gold on top of the blue. And I want this to be as flat as I can get it. Now raise this up and try to keep it tilted so it doesn't stick anywhere except for the top in the beginning. And once you get it like you want it, line up your squares and just let it lay in place. Now I'm ready to put it on my third image, on my third sheet of vinyl. And just going to peel the backing off, making sure the vinyl sticks to the transfer paper. And you can see how the gold square went right over top the blue square, and you really can't see the gold. So you know it lined up well. And now this one isn't, for this image, for this decal, this part isn't as critical as the first two. And still I want to get this to turn up just a little bit so it doesn't stick before I want it to. Now you have to be careful removing the transfer paper from the picture frame because it's pretty sticky, and if you try to just pull it off, it will buckle and wrinkle, and then you can mess up your image or pull loose. So what I found works well is just pick it up a little bit and take the scraper and put under it and just slide it, and it will release it. From the glass. And now I got off a little bit on one of the squares, but it really lined up well. Now I'm ready to trim it, and this one's ready to be sold. I'm just going to trim the excess off real quick. And now the alignment squares that we had, they'll be cut off. But we don't need those anymore. Make sure the transfer paper is down good on the image. And there you have it. There's 3 layers and everything lined up really easy. And I think using the glass really helped a lot. So I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for watching.